Hello friends, I am Santos. I welcome you all to Bioremedial. Students, today we are going to discuss about some biology topics from Standard 10. Standard 10 students are going to appear their board exam in the month of March. So we will try to complete all the topics of biology before the scheduled time, which will be helpful for all those 10 students. Students, in biology, there are 6 topics in standard 10 syllabus. The topic 1, life processes. Topic 2, control and coordination. Topic 3, how do organisms reproduce? Then heredity and evolution. Then our environment. Then management of natural resources. These 6 topics we will discuss in subsequent videos. So today we will discuss about the first chapter, life processes. Students, life processes is a very interesting and very important topic in biology, because we know the whole world contains has two kinds of objects. One objects are called living objects and another group are called non-living objects. But the basic difference between these two objects are some characteristic features. Living things perform some characteristics which is not performed by non-living things. The characteristics includes growth, reproduction, movement, exchange of gases, respond to stimuli, etc. etc. Among various characteristics, living organisms perform 4 basic life processes to exist in the nature. There are some life processes which are though important but not essential to survive in the nature. We will discuss one by one what are the life processes are essential for survival, what are the life processes are not essential for survival in due time. Students, living organisms perform various activities. They move here and there for searching food, mate, everything. But non-living things do not perform any activities. So living things, due to some activities, they need energy. Where this energy will come from? So living things need to have some food. From the food, they will get the energy for performing various work. So, obtaining food or getting food is essential process for living organisms. That includes the first process, nutrition. Student, when the food is taken inside the living organisms, the food must be converted into energy, which will be utilized for various work. So, how the food is converted into energy? Hence, respiration is essential for living organisms. Students, if it is unicellular organisms, the entire body utilizes the food by the single cell. But if it is a multicellular organisms, the food must be supplied to every part of the body where the cells are present. Hence, there must be a system called transportation which is essential for multicellular organisms. Hence, transportation is necessary. And students, due to some chemical reactions, chemical activities. There are many biological waste products produced inside these cells, which may be toxic for the body. Hence, these waste materials must be removed from the body. So the process of excretion is necessary for the living organisms. So students, these four basic life process, nutrition, respiration, then transportation and excretion are essential life processes for all living organisms to exist, to survive in the nature. Now students, there are also some life processes which living organisms perform but not for the survival, because without those life process living things can also exist in the nature. Those life processes are reproduction. So without reproduction there are many living organisms that can live. You can take the example of infertile couple and mules, worker bees. There are many such organisms. They do not reproduce, but they still exist in the nature. Another life processes, that is respond to stimuli. Students, the person who is in coma, he or she do not respond to stimuli, but he or she is alive in the nature. But if the living organisms do not perform all these basic four life processes, that are nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion, those living organisms will not be able to survive in the nature. The nature will not allow those organisms to exist even. Their body will be no more in the nature without those four life processes, because there are some microorganisms who, who can destroy, decompose the living organisms into into the soil, and the body will be mixed with the soil. Very interesting that we are only here by the four life processes only. So students, let us understand one by one what are those life processes and how it takes place in living organisms. The first one is nutrition. Student, nutrition is all about taking food inside the body. So nutrition is broadly classified into two types: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Student, autotrophic nutrition, in which the living organisms can prepare their own food from the simple raw materials like carbon dioxide, water, and utilizing sunlight in presence of chlorophyll, they can prepare their own food. This process of preparing food by autotrophs is called photosynthesis. The organisms include green plants and few bacteria. They perform photosynthesis and they prepare their own food. The mode of nutrition is called autotrophic nutrition, and those organisms performing autotrophic nutritions are called autotrophs. Then students, the second category of nutrition is heterotrophic nutritions. Students, heterotrophic nutritions are further three types. First one is saprotrophic nutrition or saprophytic nutrition. Students, some organisms, they derive their nutritions from the dead and decomposed organic matter. They grow on the decomposed places, decaying matters, and they take their nutrition from that. Those organisms include fungus. All types of fungus are saprophytes or saprotrophic nutritions. They have yeast, mushrooms are also the examples of saprophytic nutritions. The second category is parasites or parasitic nutrition. Students, parasitic mode of nutrition in which the living organisms derive nutrition from the body of other organisms without killing. They do not cause harm to the organisms where they get food. The organisms who derive food are called parasites, and the organism who provides nutrition are called host. The example of parasites are Coscota is a plant commonly known as amaravelle is example of parasitic plant. And among animals, a lot of animals have parasites, starting from leech, lice, mosquitoes, and there are many worms living inside our bodies. So parasites are further two types, ectoparasites and endoparasites. We will discuss in the higher classes. So parasitic mode of nutrition is a second type of heterotrophic nutrition. Then the third one is holozoic nutrition. Students, in holozoic nutrition, the living organisms take wide and complex varieties of food like us. We are among those organisms who use wide and complex varieties of food. Students, this is about autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. In details, if you go through autotrophic nutrition, the living organisms prepare their own food. They take water from the soil and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, sunlight from the atmosphere, and they have a green color pigment called chlorophyll. You know, sometimes there are plants, they do not have chlorophyll in their leaves. The chlorophyll is present in their stem. So in those plants, stem is a place where photosynthesis is performed. So photosynthesis takes place by all green plants. Students, photosynthesis process is performed in three different steps. The step 1, the absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll, and in second step, the splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen, and conversion of solar energy into chemical energy. In the third step, reduction of carbon dioxide by hydrogen. So these three steps involved in all photosynthesis. They may not be ordered, but the steps are performed. The three steps of photosynthesis are not in order. We can take the example of xerophytic plants, the plants living in desert area. Usually they keep closes their stomata in daytime to avoid transpiration. But in night time, they take carbon dioxide through their stomata and they prepare a intermediate stage of food, and in daytime they complete their photosynthesis. Students, of photosynthesis process is taking place by all green plants by following three steps. Then coming to the nutrition in animals. Students, nutrition in animals takes place in 5 steps. The step 1 is ingestion, then digestion, absorption, then assimilation, and lastly egestion. The step 1, ingestion, it is a process in which the food is ingested or injected into the body. In the step 2, the injected food is digested, means the process of breaking down of food into simple and soluble form, that is called digestion. So the ingested food is digested, then after digestion the digested food should be absorbed. So absorption is the third steps. The digested food is absorbed into the body. Then after absorption, the absorbed food must be distributed to all parts of the body. So absorption, then assimilation, the distribution of food into all parts. Then finally egestion, the undigested part of the food is thrown out from the body, is known as egestion. These 5 steps are necessary, are performed by all living organisms. Students, let us take an example of an unique unicellular animals, amoeba. We all know amoeba. It is very unique. It keeps changing its body. It makes its pseudopodia for the movement and the capturing food. So students, when the amoeba sense a food, it extends its pseudopodia and it encloses the food and forms a cavity. Inside the cavity, by the action of some enzymes, the food is digested and absorbed into the body. And the undigested and unutilized part of the food again thrown out from the body through the opening of pseudopodia. And this is the digestive process of amoeba. Then finally, human being. Human nutrition is a very complex process. In the first step, ingestion, in human being, the food is ingested into the mouth with the help of hand. Students, inside the mouth, the food is chewed and grinded by two sets of teeth. With the help of tongue and a watery substance, saliva, released from salivary gland, the food is mixed and becomes semi-solid. The saliva released by salivary gland contains an enzyme called salivary amylase that digests the starch part of the food. So the digestion starts at the mouth. The semi-solid part of the food, which is swallowable, and this part of the swallowable part of the food is swallowed inside the body. It is swallowed into the food pipe, which is a tube-like structure, extends from buccal cavity to the stomach. Students, when the food is swallowed inside this food pipe, there is a rhythmic, regular wave-like movement continues by the food pipe. This rhythmic, regular movement of the wall of the food pipe is known as peristaltic movement, or the process is called peristalsis. Doctor, students, due to peristalsis, this food which is swallowed inside the food pipe is pushed into the stomach. Inside the stomach, the food is mixed with the gastric juice. The gastric juice released by the gastric gland present in the wall of the stomach. Students, the gastric juice contains three substances: pepsin, one enzyme, hydrochloric acid, and mucus. Students, HCl makes the medium acidic so that pepsin can act better. So pepsin digests the protein part of the food inside the stomach, and the mucus which guards the stomach wall from the harmful effect of HCl. So inside the stomach, the food is partially digested, the protein part is digested, and the semi-digested food enters into the small intestine regulated by a sphincter muscle between stomach and small intestine. In the small intestine, the semi-digested food is mixed with the bile, which is released by gallbladder but usually produced by liver and stored in gallbladder, and it is released from gallbladder mixed with the semi-digested food at small intestine. The bile helps to digest fat. The fat, by the action of bile, emulsified into fat globules. The fat is converted into fat globules, which is known as emulsification. And the emulsified food mixed with the pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contains again three enzymes: pancreatic amylase, trypsin, and lipase. Students, pancreatic amylase digest starch part of the food, and the trypsin digest remaining protein part of the food, and the lipase digest the fat portion of the food. In this way, all major nutrients are digested in small intestine. And at the lower part of the small intestine, the food is mixed with some intestinal juices that also contain some enzymes which converts these nutrients into their molecular form. The starch get converted into glucose, the protein converted into amino acids, and the fat is into fatty acids and glycerols, which are the absorbable nutrients which is absorbed into the blood vessels present in the villi of small intestines. This molecular form of the food get absorbed into the blood vessels of the villi, which is present in the inner wall of the small intestines. And when this molecular form of the food mixed with the blood, it is distributed to all over the body by blood circulation. That we will discuss in the next part of the video. Now, the remaining undigested food from the small intestine enters into the large intestine, where the water and salts are absorbed by the wall of the large intestine, and the undigested food becomes dry and solid and gets stored at the last part of the digestive system called rectum, where the rectum where the food digests or some undigested part of the food is stored and thrown out from the body when it is filled up. This process is called digestion. So this is all about the nutrition of human being. We have covered the process of nutrition. In the next part of the video, we will discuss about another life process called respiration. Thank you. Please share it if you like this video. Please do share this video. Thank you, and thank you.